My name is Kristof Selleslach. I'm the Curator of Archives of the Museum Plantin-Moretus. The Museum Plantin-Moretus houses the original printing workshop established by Christopher Plantin in 1555, as well as the residential quarters used by the family. In the 16th century, in Antwerp's golden age, Plantin's printing business flourished and became the largest of its kind in Europe. His descendants from the Moretus family fostered Plantin's legacy for another 8 generations. Until the mid-19th century, they resided here on this spot and managed the Officina Plantinia as a world-renowned printing business. The museum today reflects their lives and works. For more than 300 years, various managers, family members and employees recorded their business interests, daily expenses, memorable events and even casual thoughts and concerns on paper. Today, this paper memory is still preserved with care on its original location. Moreover, since 2001, these archives has even been inscribed on UNESCO's Memory of the World Register. These records are extremely valuable for research on book production and the cultural life in the Netherlands in the 16th and 17th centuries. That is why the museum is strongly committed to digitize these records and make the contents available to a broader audience and to researchers all over the world.
I'm Tom Eerkens. I'm a project employee at the Museum Plantin-Moretus here in Antwerp, and I took charge of the transcription project. The archives that we keep here are, of course, the ideal source for uncovering historical stories that we can use to support the museum activities. They contain valuable historical information about everything that you can see when you visit the museum. Every object, every painting, from the printing presses in the printing office to the gold leather decorating the walls. In addition to this, hidden voices are lurking in these archival records that we want to bring back to life. They contain daily activities and events from the family Moretus from more than 100 years ago. However, these stories are contained on early modern paper, neatly preserved in bundles or archive boxes. These thousands of pages of text are not full text searchable, and the most of them are not even indexed by subject or person. Moreover, they are written in almost illegible handwritings in multiple languages. Transcribing them in the old-fashioned way would take countless hours of work. The combined effort of artificial intelligence and volunteering helps us to outsource this task. Today, web applications like Transcribing are available using image recognition software and text recognition software to identify handwritten text and to convert them into digital text. But these automatic transcriptions still have a little margin of error. That's why a human eye is still needed to correct these errors. And this is where our citizen science project kicks in.
Artificial intelligence is popping up in every corner of society these days, and it offers exceptional opportunities for a museum as well. Recognition software for old handwritings is becoming increasingly advanced, such as Transcribing, developed by the University of Innsbruck with support from the European Union. It offers a user-friendly web application where you pay for your assignments with a limited number of free credits or with a paid subscription that offers more credits and options. However, artificial intelligence doesn't solve everything, and it is not always easy to develop a transcription model with a limited amount of one single handwriting. Nevertheless, it is a useful digital assistant for anybody who then fine-tunes the transcription.
About a year ago, the journey of our museum's online community began. As we present the project here today, we have also invited a few volunteers to share their experience together with us.
I saw a call online that you were looking for volunteers for the Museum for transcriptions, and I sent you an email and you replied and it was okay. It was in March from this year.
I transcribe texts in Dutch, texts and listings. Try to transcribe so that you can understand the content.
And is it easy or difficult to start with an online program like Transcribus?
To start, yes, you have to find out a little bit how it's working. But once you know it or you have understood it, it's not that difficult.
Was it easy to transcribe? Because Transcribus gives a first transcription, but
yes.
Then you have to look at it, make
when
corrections.
It's in a context, when it's let's say a key word in context, then you have the word you can't read very well, but you have the context, and very often you can understand it. If it's a key word out of context, you have a single word and nothing more, it's sometimes difficult.
From the outset, we wanted to build an online community where participants could support each other with advice and assistance and share their knowledge. For this purpose, the museum chose to use a free version of the web-based online communication platform Slack, but other applications are just as readily available. Transcribing thus become a group effort rather than a purely individual task. As you can see here, the online communication platform allows the museum to alert its volunteers to announcements, administrative matters, and events. The participants help and support the museum on their own initiative, anywhere and anytime they want. They can communicate with each other via open channels, ask questions about the practical operation of Transcribus, work on the same theme in small groups, post screenshots of unreadable words in the group, or simply share information and fun facts with each other. What do you do if you get stuck in Transcribus?
Then I can ask my colleague volunteers on Slack. That's the platform the museum uses, the online platform. Then I can put my question there in a thread, and they usually reply.
This is something you do from home, but you can do it anywhere you like.
Yep, that's true.
Do you have a favorite spot where you sit behind your laptop or computer and
Well,
transcribe?
I have my kind of office at home because I've been working from home for years now. So I still have my office, but that doesn't mean I'm always sitting there, because now currently I'm at another place, so I just take my laptop with me, and if I have some spare time, be it in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, during the weekend, I just open my laptop and I start working on it. So it's an easy one, that you can do it at any time and at any place.
The archives are a complex entity. To make it more comprehensible, we divided it up into 6 major themes or collections, like book trade or correspondence, allowing each volunteer to indicate their preferred theme. In addition, the workload was divided into 3 roles that a volunteer can take on. You're an online volunteer, but we also use the artificial intelligence from Transcribus. Do you think this is an advantage?
Yeah, for me it is, because sometimes you have handwriting that you really say, oh my God, I don't know what I have to make from it. And then obviously you also see that AI didn't know exactly what to make of it, but at least it gives you some leeways to start with. And yeah, sometimes it's really, okay, yeah, I didn't think that it could be that, but if you then start comparing other words, say, okay, AI is correct. So it's a helpful instrument. Obviously you can't just plug in what AI did in your online catalog, but as a starting point, I do think it's a good one as a starting point. And then obviously we also have our online community Slack, which has been helpful to me as well. So you can just drop in a request with a screenshot saying, oh gosh, any knowledge of this word, because I have no clue whatsoever, and I always got a response. Which is an interesting one, because then my follow-up question would always be, oh wow, what's your magic source that you could find it or not. So it's really helpful. So I also think if I see something coming in, I always have a look and say, oh, if I can help, I would also respond. Because that's a good thing that you see. And I always look a little bit at history, what has been discussed before in the community. And there's some interesting threads in there that is, well, okay, that might be useful to retain and to know that I can use while doing my transcriptions.
There is a preparator who checks if text fields and baselines are in the right position to ensure that the recognition software can work optimally. Then there is a thoroughbred transcriber who corrects the transcriptions made by transcribers by going through all the baselines and checking them against the digital original. And last but not least, there is a tagger, who pinpoints persons, places and dates in the transcription by using so-called tags and tries to identify these. What do you like about the project and the online community?
I like that it's all things in Antwerp.
Yeah.
In the 17th century. I can see them walking around and they use the same street names. It still exists, and how life was back then. It's really interesting. That they ordered a lot of butter, shitloads of butter. They drank only alcohol, beer and wine. And they needed passports to go to the countryside, and yeah, it's a whole saga with the coachman married the maid. It's really interesting. I think you could make a whole television series, like Game of Thrones, but without the dragons, about the Moretussen.
A Game of Thrones television series about the family Moretus.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a combination of artificial intelligence with human intelligence.
You always need that.
Yeah.
I'm always saying, okay, artificial is okay, but you still need the human intelligence. You have to combine both, otherwise it wouldn't work. It's a helpful tool, a starting point, but it's not the final magic source, for me at least.
What do you like about the project and the online community?
For me, it's just, I love collecting information. I love the whole idea that you make this beautiful archive public, and also online public. Not only that people come and visit the museum, but also people from around the world can just go online and see what a wealth of information is available here. What I like about it as well is just, for me, it's like that it's like a puzzle. You get your first page and you're really like, no idea what this is all about, and then you start compiling little bits and pieces of information, and you come, in the end you say, oh, okay, I do think this is a readable text, and this really reflects what the original author of the page was willing to say or was trying to explain.
And do you like working as a volunteer here?
Yes, it's because the museum is interesting, and if I wouldn't like it, I wouldn't do it.
I like the project, I like the online community, colleagues, the guidance, and everything.
I'm really glad I started here, and I'm still doing it with a lot of fun and a lot of interest. And I really hope I can continue this for the coming months, years. And I do think, from what I heard from you before, there's still a lot of work to be done. So I do think you will see and hear from me for the coming months and years.
This kind of citizen science project may seem like a top-down imposed process, but it certainly isn't from our experience. Citizens have a wealth of interest and knowledge that the museum can use to its advantage. All texts written in Spanish, one of our volunteers is just waiting to be asked. Identifying old place names, research work for armchair detectives with a penchant for local history. Having issues with a technical aspect in Transcribing, our voluntary IT specialists are here to help.
Our community of about 40 online volunteers has already transcribed several archive records related with the printing workshop and the family estates. We have been using these transcriptions in an upcoming exhibition on the women who worked and lived here in the Golden Compasses. With these sources we were able to tell the stories of the women and men who lived here centuries ago.
Both artificial intelligence and volunteers have already done a lot of work, but this is a long-term project. We aim to make as much transcriptions as possible of as much archive as possible, but that doesn't mean we don't have intermediate results. Firstly, these transcriptions help us to update the existing inventory and make the archive accessible at an item-level description. At the same time, the availability of a transcription helps to remove the barrier of an illegible handwriting for both interested laymen as academic researchers. It may not make the content of the text understandable, but it makes it clearly legible. This means that in the museum we can use these archives, we can use the transcriptions of these archives in other projects, like participation projects with people learning Dutch with the transcription of these archives. And above all, we can conclude that this project brings hidden voices from the past back to life.
Dearest father and mother,
20th of July, 1683. Paid Cicely, our kitchen maid, 4 months' wages at £7 Flemish yearly.
Drawn up on the last day of December in the year 1658.
I, Marcus Beggs, delivered the following to Sir Moretus on the first day. 12 stivers worth of stale white bread, another 4 pounds of flour,
And I will always remain, beloved father and mother, your humble son, Kristof
Appearing before me,
Moretus.
nodding, and the witnesses present on the day, month and year prescribed.
Dear Madam, as you requested to know the price of the Spanish atlas,
On 30 June 1727, the captain complains
I didn't
about
want to
Aunt
fail to
Ethel
write you this short
because
letter,
he said
as
to
it
the
seemed to me
captain,
to be my duty,
"Smell my ass
since we
to
are
see
too
whether
far
or
apart
not
to
I
see
have
each other
Wendy's."
and talk face to face,
On the same
which is
day,
otherwise the language to
Kristof
satisfy my heart.
complains about the captain
But in the absence of the
because he
above,
said that
we can from time to time take up pen, paper and ink, instead of using natural and vivid speech, to glimpse the joys of each other's soul and goodwill, since we cannot do differently.